Hello, this is Michael Wojak with a Rochester City Council update for May 20th, 2013. Not a lot of big issues on the agenda tonight, but a lot of little things that came up. I would like to congratulate my friend and former council member Bob Nowicki for coming back for a short period of time. I am incredibly happy to have Bob back on the council, though I am the one person who did not vote to appoint someone. Nothing to do with Bob. Bob's great, and I'm glad that he's back. It was a lot of fun having him back on the council. What this was about from my standpoint is I don't believe myself representing Ward 2 in Southwest Rochester. I don't feel it's appropriate for me to tell the people of Ward 5 who it is that should be representing them. It's a little bit different with Bob because Bob's won multiple elections there and he's not going to run for re-election. But what it does do is it gives people the power of incumbency, and I don't know if we've ever appointed a young person, a minority. I don't know, but this is, when you start appointing people to offices, it's propagating kind of this good old boy mentality. I don't like that. You're creating a situation where you give somebody the incredibly powerful incumbency title, and it makes it that much easier should they choose to run for office in the future. So I just think it's bad policy, but I am absolutely thrilled to have Bob Nowicki back on the council, so welcome back. A couple other things. We had some discussion of waiving some fees for the Boys and Girls Club, and waiving fees for one of the thousands of nonprofits in town might be a slippery slope to go down. So I actually proposed and made a change. We're not going to waive the fees, but we had some CDBG money, some money from the federal government for certain programs that we had allocated. We're going to try and allocate them an equivalent amount out of there and maybe talk about that language, because that could get a very, very long slope to go down if we started waiving fees for every nonprofit in Rochester, no matter how worthy they are. Also approved kind of a billboard style sign, smaller, but a LED sign that's going to go up on the Elton Hills area, but nobody seemed to object to it, so that's going in there. Let's see. Talked a little bit about liquor license. We have a wine bar going in downtown, but because we don't have a wine bar license, we have to give them a super expensive license, even though the only thing they're going to do is have a little wine and art. Kind of silly, and something I'd like to fix. Ultimately, the state dictates a little bit of that on us. There's not much we can do. First Street Southwest now in the Kutsky Park area. That project is going. We had an assessment hearing, so that project will go forward. One person along the property objected to their assessment, so we'll talk over more with them, but the project is going to go ahead now. We took action on some RPU bonds. I think if you follow my Twitter feed, you saw that we were budgeting for a 4.5% on $40 million that we issued for the CapEx 2020. Came in closer to 3.6%. Do the math on that, and that's something like $350,000. That we're going to be saving each year. So that's a great deal. It's nice that that's why our high credit ratings really matter. And when folks like the Tea Party were cutting, and the not matching revenues and expenses, and the federal government got downgraded, the state government got downgraded, and the city of Rochester maintained its AAA rating. We believe in fiscal responsibility here, and there are rewards when you pay your bills. Let's see, and obviously you can see I'm looking over because we just had a packed agenda, so I'm just kind of going through anything else that might have been interesting. A lot of discussion on the Senior Center Sales Center. I was a little bit disappointed at the RFQ after having some fairly extensive talks about the about how important that is as a quality urban design site, and then seeing the request for proposals come forward that didn't say anything about site design or quality urban design even in there. So some red flags went up, and we talked about that. And we also talked a little bit about the best value process. You cannot really factor local companies in when you're doing construction contracting, but when you're doing services like we're doing finding an architect here, you can. And I was going to insert some language that weighted whether or not the firm was local, but it turns out the solicitation only went out to local firms anyway, so the point's a little bit moot on this one, but it's something that will be coming forward, at least for our services contracts. in terms of one other thing that came up that was a little bit contentious is there was a platting of some future lots up in the northeast part of town, and the issue was the lots were not being laid out the way that they had been shown to the people who had bought lots previously. Stop me if you've heard this before. And ultimately, they had concerns and they brought up a lot of points, but at the end of the day, it's a private matter between private parties, and it's not part of the city's role in terms of laying it out. I mean, if it just got to whether or not you liked it, I'd stop approving suburban sprawl lots altogether. But so that did go forward. And finally, I think for the cyclists out there, we had some we're going to actually get some bike lockers downtown, which I was a little bit surprised. That actually ended up being a 5-2 vote. So we had 2 people voting against the bike lockers. That was Ruska and Snyder that voted against it. But anyway, there's a few of them coming, and quite frankly, I might actually be one of the people that buys one of those lockers down there. So I'll let you know when it is after I get mine. Other than that, thank you for watching, and not a whole lot too exciting going on, and I will catch you next time.